What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Today, I am sitting down with someone who is doing incredible things in fashion and modeling. He is a menswear and lifestyle creative, a Getty contributor, if I'm pronouncing that properly,
Mhm.
and the founder of Sip and Pose Modeling Mixer, which has been bringing together models, photographers, and just creatives in a whole new way. On top of that, he's a mother agent, which essentially means he is one of the people guiding and shaping the careers of the next generation of models. We're going to get into his journey, the reality of modeling behind the scenes a little bit, and where the industry is headed. So, Jordan, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, before we dive into the serious stuff, when you're not in front of a camera or running the Sip and Pose mixer, what is your go-to unplug? How do you get away from it all for a minute?
I mean, I would like to say a bar, but that doesn't sound that would not sound great because I'm like, oh wait, he's hitting the bottle. No, 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 it's not nothing like that. So honestly, I
There's
just
nothing
love
wrong with a
music.
cocktail here or there.
Oh no, I do now look, I you'll see on my feed, do I do subscribe to a good cocktail within reason. Within reason.
There you go.
Um, but I really do enjoy music a lot. So I try to find anything that's live music. I'm a musician first. I've been playing violin for over 20 years and I got my bachelor's degree in music performance. So anything that's akin to music, if it's not, and you'll see it, if I'll go to like EDM stuff, I'll go to the symphony, I'll go to jazz, I'll go to that's one of my biggest ways of unplugging is just tapping into my creative roots, which is still steeped in music. So I just tell people I'm a violinist that's decent with a camera and other things.
And a couple of you got an eye is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, how did all of this start for you if you were a musician first? I mean, first of all, the violin is probably one of the most beautiful instruments. So, and you don't hear a lot of people saying that they play the violin anymore, I feel like.
hmm
So that's awesome in and of itself. But how did the journey start for you? Was there a moment where fashion went from just kind of clothes and something that, you liked looking good and turned into, more of a calling? Was there a specific moment where that happened?
I would say it's just how I was raised. Like my parents raised me and my sister to go to school looking our best. It wasn't about necessarily buying the most expensive things or anything like that, but looking at how we present ourselves in the world really does matter. There's a sentiment these days that I feel like it's more lackadaisical. It's kind of, whatever, kind of like, well, as long as I make good money, this kind of stuff, and, who cares? I'm like, well, okay, that is a truth. I'm not saying that's not necessarily true, but I come from the mindset that you dress for the job that you want and how people perceive you. How you feel is literally how you dress. So it's kind of that's how I've been raised. And so I think it also comes from my performance background as well, especially in classical music. It's a very formal atmosphere. These days it's gotten much more contemporary, but when I started learning violin when I was 11 and a half, and when I started to do my first recital, you would wear, and maybe a suit or something dressy casual, if not semi-formal. And then when I started taking lessons and well, actually playing in orchestra, my first experience in playing in an orchestra was at my arts high school, uh, August Anderson School of the Arts, which is a Grammy nominated high school here in Jacksonville.
That's
That was
awesome.
my first experience with getting a tuxedo and getting on stage, and there's this formal, there's this formality to it that there's a presence to the music and etiquette. And when you combine all of those things, I've just had a respect for how I want people to perceive me because I'm an eclectic guy and I just try to find things that best represent who I am. Because we're all multifaceted individuals, and I'm just a big believer in accurately depicting that in a classy way.
I really liked something you said as far as like how you present yourself to the world is like very important.
Mhm.
That was actually something that I didn't really start ingraining in my head until I got into sales.
Mhm.
And it was very much like, especially when I was doing door to door sales,
Yeah.
that you have to look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if
Definitely.
I'm knocking on your door, you don't want me there already. Like,
Mhm.
I better look good when you answer the door. You know what I mean? But it was part of it. It was the look good, feel good, smell good, and do good. That's it.
I like you. I like you. It's like the fragrance, the men's cologne. Yeah,
I'm
it's.
a Versace guy when it comes to the colognes. So
I'm gonna put you on a Michael London. That's a fragrance that's kind
yeah,
of like it's a niche brand that I've been working with because we'll go into how I also went into like in the social media as a menswear blogger, lifestyle blogger. Came across that brand about a year ago. Incredible stuff. I've never gotten so many compliments, and I've worked with ISL. I've
yeah.
done a Rotsell, a lot of different fragrances, Ralph Lauren fragrances, but this one I get the most compliments for it. I'm gonna put you onto that. I think you'll
Yeah, I'm gonna
love
have
it.
to try it. I think I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it's like it gets dive bar approved, let me tell you. 'Cause I just test it out with friends, and then if I'm going out with someone with some friends and I'm at, like, either a cocktail lounge or a bar and, like, I put on one of these scents from that brand, I've never gotten that many compliments ever from some of the more mainstream brands, but this one, yeah. A little detour on the chat.
I
I'll put
like
you
that.
onto
I
that.
like that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll definitely talk about that afterwards. So tell me, I mean, fashion and modeling and that whole industry
Mhm.
is fairly notorious, I feel like, for not being easy to get into, right? So how do you stay motivated in an industry that is that difficult, or is it just perceived as that difficult to break into?
So the answer is yes and no, because part of it is objective. Part of it is also subjective. And I'm fascinated from the marketing side of it. Just like how you mentioned you were in sales, I went into that in a sense when, so I had a background in Medicare while also having a music background doing social functions of different types. And when I came into social media was I like to tell people I come from the early days of the matrix on Instagram.
I remember when Instagram like became a thing,
Yeah.
because I think Snapchat was first, right?
Snapchat was basically first. It's like they
I
kind
think
of
they were
all
like right there.
like there's a little
Yeah.
bit of overlap,
But
but Snapchat was came around the same time, but I wasn't really into Snapchat as much. I just took on Instagram and I didn't even really know what I was doing at the time was blogging. I just looked at it as an escape from my 9 to 5. And it was a forum for me to share the interest that I loved, and that involved Jacksonville being sort of like this passing through. It gets coined as this. Oh, that's a passing through main city, and there was a cultural renaissance going on where small businesses like food trucks were at the time were starting to translate into brick and mortar. And I discovered, oh, there's these different communities online of sharing, there's the sneakerheads, there's the suit guys. I started off as a niche blogger where I would collect really cool socks and style that with my outfits. And it grew to where independent brands would reach out to me, and then I started working with more mainstream brands, and Instagram at the time discovered me and put me on and local news. But when I started learning how to make money online from doing creative posts and learning how to communicate messages that resonates with the online community, that in turn led into me developing a deeper love for photography itself, where I was getting pretty comfortable taking photos of myself, but then learning how to take photos of other people and understanding there's a brand story, especially if I'm working with, like, I've done some things with Express, for example, where, okay, well, they have a particular point of view for how they want their outfits to be portrayed. And while there are many lifestyle menswear bloggers that do the same thing, I wanted to go deeper with that because I always knew there's a echelon when it comes to how marketing is structured for social media. And then, but the people that you always see when you're going into these stores, they're not necessarily bloggers. These are models. And that got me really fascinated with how how do you actually get involved in the inner workings of these marketing structures that's been around for decades. So, and then, I've always been fascinated with runway itself, and those two worlds started to come together. So, through mutual friends, I connected with one of my colleagues, Chance Gwen, who you see pop up from time to time. She's a fitness coach. She's a head judge. She has her lanes in both the bodybuilding world as well as the modeling world, and those were pretty cool. Those are pretty cool dynamics because as I was developing my skills as a photographer, I took on doing photos of athletes and connecting even with the legend of Dexter Jackson here.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, and when I got to talking with her, wanting to learn more about the modeling side of things, she connected me with some individuals that got me plugged into New York Fashion Week, and I was able to get my start as a runway photographer for New York Fashion Week. Yeah, and
I
that's
actually got invited to New York Fashion Week at one point.
you did, eh?
I don't even know if like you can consider it. I was fresh out of boot camp. All right. So just got out of boot camp, and then I was visiting my brother in New York, who at the time was working on his portfolio. He was trying to get into that side of things. And now he's a dance teacher. He's definitely probably still interested. I'll see if I can't connect you guys. But
Okay. Alright.
and then so
I need someone in
I
New
went
York.
with perfect. I think he's actually in Massachusetts now though, so he might have left you.
Hmm,
But yeah, we'll figure it out. I got you. But yeah, so we went together to like the office or whatever
mhm.
to like kind of like give the agent or the manager or whatever her position was like his portfolio.
Sounds like she
And
was
I was just,
amazing.
I was just kind of there.
Mhm,
And she was like, "Oh, well, you can definitely come," and like said something about like me coming. And I was like, "I have to go to like my training." And like,
mhm,
cause obviously that was never something that was ever like in my mind. You know what I mean? I just got out of Marine Corps boot camp. Like I'm not,
mhm, mhm.
and then now I'm like, maybe I should have tried a little harder to go to that.
I will
But
say it's not too late for men. Men have quite a long lifespan in this industry. And like my oldest model, for example, you may have seen him, Joey. He's 43 and incredible shape.
well,
Former
cause it's like
men's
you're talking
physique.
about, you're right. Cause it's like you're talking about for marketing. It's like not every market is a 20-something-year-old,
No.
you know?
And
So
right. Yeah. So there's different kinds of modeling out there. And I was fascinated by that when I started connecting with, well, the runway world in of itself is it's a big networking opportunity where you're meeting a lot of different entities all at once, and then you learn who you need to be talking to. So you're
I'm
connecting
sure
with.
you can sniff those people out in a room pretty easily.
At first, it was such a rush. It was my first time in New York. And so I had my best friend with me to guide me because I'm like, bro, I don't understand New York. It's a lot. It's so much, but incredible at
Yeah.
the same time. And that energy, it just never left. It was just, I never felt so at home with, even with the chaos of it, of just connecting with a variety of different creative individuals. And I'm fascinated with the marketing behind it. Like there's the models, there's the photographers, there's the casting directors, there's the designers. How do these forces, how does it all work? The machinations of it is just fascinating to me. So for me, it felt like a natural transition where I've done a lot of social media marketing locally for a variety of businesses, if not for myself when I'm working with national brands, international brands. And then I started doing marketing and event planning through another company where I've had experience of help organizing events in the thousands. So for me, coming from, and I still do menswear blogging on there, but it just feels like at this point like a natural transition into another form of creative marketing, and how that's fused with the art as well as the business side of it. It's just really cool to me.
So, and that's kind of, I mean, that's basically your whole job. We keep talking about marketing.
Hmm.
So, I want to explain to people what exactly a mother agent is because I had no idea. Is
Hmm.
it different than just what we hear when we hear of an agent, or is there some more nuance to it?
There's nuance to it. There's definitely, so a mother agent essentially is a person that that sees potential raw talent and guides that individual to be shaped in a way that fits their interests into, in this case, modeling. Because there's professional standards involved in terms of what various casting directors, brand representatives look for, even designers. And I try to tell ones it's not always necessarily social media related these days. It is intertwined. I will say that, and we'll get there. We'll get there. But for simplicity, it's just being a brand consultant of saying, hey, you have a lot of potential in these areas, and my job is to help shape you and guide you on the steps that needs to be taken to potentially, and I say potentially for a reason, to be booked for special opportunities. Because I tell everyone it's not promised, but what I can give you is the proper education and the right resources as well as the right path to get set up professionally that puts you in the arena to be picked up. An agent will, if he or she has a network, they can plug and vouch for you, if not fight for you in other cases to ensure, no, this is why you need Steven. There is a really cool look here that he's filled in the blanks for what you need for raw nutrition commercial or something like that.
Right,
So
whatever it is. So
whatever it is.
what is something that stands out to you when you're looking for talent? Like, is there any like one, two, or three specific things that really just catch your eye right away? Or is it something that just kind of, it's a feeling?
Oh man, it is a little bit feeling. It's a little bit of a feeling, and I look at it from the perspective of a photographer of how finding unique traits in individuals, because I believe everybody's interesting. The photographer's job is to find that interesting aspect of that individual and try to frame it in the most flattering light. Or I like finding contradictions that are kind of different from conventional beauty standards. Because every time now and then when I'm it's funny now, it's become a situation where whoever I personally sign, folks are like, "Well, huh? What?" And like in my mind, it's like you're seeing things from a conventional beauty standard. I am
You're
not.
like, I have a vision. I
Yeah,
see it. You don't have to. I see it. And that's
yeah.
all that matters.
And then it's also who's getting booked. So there are a couple of things that's going on. I'm looking at the trends of the types of looks out there that are getting booked for various campaigns. I pay attention to different agencies that have signed individuals. If not, these individuals have been booked in a variety of different ways. And you kind of notice, oh, okay, that's kind of an interesting look, or like, wow, why would they pick this person? What is it about this person that I'm starting to see, oh, there's kind of a vibe to these individuals' looks that are starting to get cast. So you kind of look at it, I look at things from a top-down perspective. You see like the top agencies that are booking various looks, and it's also kind of cultural as well, because some agencies internationally are known for picking various looks. I'll use New York, for example. New York kind of likes some quirky looks. Miami.
I feel like the New York Fashion Show is known for
Mhm.
kind of like wild, outlandish, in
Yep.
your face, uh, more so expression
Mhm.
and almost less fashion, more expression. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of used to highlight a specific piece.
Yes. Now, here in Florida, Miami is very I feel like someone gonna come for me, but you're like, "You come for me, you come in these comments." Like, I'm right. Miami's very physique driven. Very physique driven. And certain
You can have your
markets,
shirt off year round. Why would it not be, you know?
absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a thing in New York. New York will take on more traditional frames of just a classic look of a lean individual or tone, if not somewhat gaunt. That's a look.
Mm.
In Florida, you will see that here and there. But my argument is when you, especially in a place like Miami, which is a major contender in these markets, Miami is more physique driven. Hence, you'll see things of like swimwear, underwear modeling. There are formal wear. There's a variety of great designers down there and brands like Harry Ellis is down there. Adidas does castings down there. There's some variety, but ultimately it skews more in a physique driven area. That as well as LA can have a bit of a bit of everything, but commercial, editorial. New York loves editorial looks. Miami is kind of like a fusion between editorial and commercial. And what I mean by that is, well, that's almost a podcast episode in and of itself
In and of
when
itself, yeah.
describing someone that has an editorial look versus a commercial look. I'll use fitness models, for example. Fitness models tend to be above the standards of what casting directors and agency directors will look for. Like in the case of my model, Joey comes from a former men's physique background I've known him for 10 years and he's stayed at 4% body fat. A traditional male model is advised to maintain at least between 8 and 10%. They love the traditional look of a male model that is quote unquote fit in the world in this industry is toned, muscular, but not too shredded, not too much, because they want someone that is deemed relatable to the consumer, but also a little bit cut above the rest.
They
Someone
want it
like
to be achievable.
right,
They want someone to be able to look at it and see themselves potentially.
right. But
That is very interesting.
yes. And there's variations to that. They like that smooth, bendy, because if you're too bulky sometimes, it makes it hard for posing purposes, or if it's something more artistically inclined, but it's involving a product, okay, that makes sense, but it's a pretty traditional mindset. Joey is someone that is more editorial where he's above the standards. But he's flexible where he needs to be. So he can be branded in a fitness fashion way because those are his interests. And then his features itself is he's not someone that you're just gonna see all the time per se. So he leans more and also to the tattoos as well, are that's a very
It's
unique.
a whole nother niche in and of its own, right? I mean, there's like Inked magazine and there's
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. Like people I think, especially in the last, I would say 20 years, tattoos have become so much more like
Hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for here? Like mainstream.
Yes.
Everyone's got them now. Even like people who don't drink, don't smoke, like straight edge, they'll have a little something on their wrist or behind their ear or
Right.
so yeah, that's very interesting.
But what's the fascinating thing with that is, like, for quite a bit of my models that are signed, most of them have tattoos. Now, there are still some, because I tell everybody, and then this is just a matter of fact in life, you're not going to be for everybody. So there will be that designer that doesn't want someone with tattoos versus that brand that's like, okay, we don't care. In fact, that actually adds a bit more edge to what we've got going on. It just sometimes it depends on the tattoo design itself and whether that aligns with the brand's ideals. And
Mm.
so I would say it's easier with men. It's still a little tricky with women these days, especially for women that have a lot of tattoos that want to do bikini shoots, things of that nature. While that's a little tough. That's a little tough because with women, there's still more of a skew towards a blank slate, if not a
I feel like
little
it
bit of
might
tattoos.
almost I feel like it might work in the exact opposite end as well, because I know like the ones you do see that have tattoos are usually like covered. It's usually not just like a little something here or there. It's usually, I feel like, more all or nothing,
Yes.
it seems, as far as what I've noticed now that I'm thinking about it.
And even my colleague, Chance, she has tattoos, but she still does bikini and she did fitness modeling for years, and it took a while to modify her branding to where she started doing more editorial commercial work. So she comes from that background of like giving it to models straight that have various looks, and when it comes to tattoos, she'll even say, look, there's just certain gigs, it ain't gonna happen. But that doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of opportunities elsewhere. So it's just having an understanding of what's out there. And overall, it's becoming more mainstream, but there are still some differences between opportunities between men and women at the moment. But I just signed a girl named Simone, and fantastic model. Fantastic. She's covered. She would be considered more like an alternative model.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like, is that what you would call it once you get to that point of like either tattoos or piercings or, any body modification at that point? That's when you kind of get more towards like just the straight up alternative, right?
Straight up alternative, it's a completely different lane by itself. While there are, and it's sort of a case by case situation of just how modified is the individual, but there are brands out there that want those looks. I just tell people, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll just say, look, if you're trying to do Prada or something like that, you got to look at who, like, do you think
Right. Who is Prada?
yeah, but look at the models that are being used for that. Is your look reflected over there? If not, they're not casting you. That's just the way it is.
Right. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, why do you even want
Mhm,
that brand if that's not your brand, just because you like it, just because
mhm,
it's a brand that you like
mhm.
that's kind of a silly reason to me to,
Yes.
want to. I guess it makes sense a little bit. But so as far as clients,
Mhm,
because I have no idea what the modeling world looks like or anything,
mhm.
how often is it, or have you had the experience where someone that you started working with just had this completely skewed view of what being a model was, and you kind of had to put them back on the track of like, hey, this is actually like the real world. If you want to do this, this is what it's actually like, especially for you.
I've had some that have wow. So there are definitely some that come in thinking that they don't need to do anything. They think their look is
Mm.
just, well, I'm ready, right? And I said, well, no, this is the start. Modeling is 10% looks, but there's also other skill sets of trying to help ones understand, okay, there's a process to this. What I like to do is explain there are test shoots, you know, according to the interest of that individual, and then align that with what I know and who I know. I let individuals know, okay, well, you got to think of yourself as a brand. What are you presenting? Okay?
Yeah,
And
everyone's a brand.
yeah, everyone's a brand, but how to be a brand is another story. So I've had ones that I will just say I've had ones from the bodybuilding world that say I got a great body, I got this, and I say, okay, yes, you have a higher than average, like this, you are truly unique. But you must understand that while you can be that individual, but if you want to get into the lane of the deeper aspects of bottling and marketing, there's some things you need to do. You need to do some test shoots. You've got to have a portfolio. What is a portfolio that speaks to the strengths of your looks? Because if I have an individual saying, well, I want to do streetwear and I want to do suit wear. And like, okay, well, we need shoots that reflect that and also reflect that look. And and
Right.
sometimes I'll tell an individual that's not your look. That won't really work for you. Here's my suggestions. Let's go and let's pivot. Let's incorporate, especially if it's a person that's really adept at social media. because these days
Mm.
models gotta learn how to be. It's funny how the reverse is happening where models are kind of being pressured to be influencers, and I don't advocate for that. But there is a way to use social media to help boost your portfolio. Because by the end of the day, I teach ones you got to learn about posing, you got to learn about model etiquette, you need to learn how to handle submissions sometimes on your own. Yes, I'm an agent and I will look out for you, but a mother agent focuses more on the development. So what I'm saying is that ones they kind of think these days that modeling is just
Hey,
social
where's
media, you
mine?
just post. And I get that because I've been that person. Oh no, staying connected. Oh no. Hello? Oh no. I think oh no.
Are we
Okay.
back?
Yes.
Can you
I
hear
don't know
me?
what happened.
All right.
I'm not that was weird. Oh no. That was weird. I hope it's not the rain out there.
Hi. Let's hope we're good this time.
Yeah, I haven't moved it. I
All
haven't
right. I
yeah.
believe you. I think it's my internet. I don't know what's going on with it right now. I'm gonna have to call someone and freak out. But anyways,
Well, what I was trying to say was
before we got cut off there.
what surprises certain ones is there's development, especially when in someone that's new to modeling, they don't know the first steps that gets them set up for marketing. And that involves taking model digitals, which is basically shots of your natural self without the filters and anything. There's kind of some there's principles behind how you take those shots. And then you need to take test shoots. And those are basically an idea of the type of model that you want to convey to these casting directors. That you want to say, okay, I'll just use you as an example. Hey, I have Steven. He's a new face. He is branded as a fitness model. I think he can be great for editorial projects, but he's mostly geared towards doing fitness model projects. He's 60. You are 6'3", right? Something like that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, he has a bit of a bodybuilder physique, more of a classic physique. I think he would be perfect for these type of campaigns, X, Y, and Z. But I'm the kind of person that will say, but do not pigeonhole him. He's got a look that can fit in other scenarios too. But you can say that all day long, but you need to have the portfolio work that speaks to it.
Right. You have
See
to be
what
able
I'm
to
saying?
back it up.
Right. So one of my new models is a fitness model that I actually met at New York Fashion Week a few years ago. His name is Cade Wood. He's technically branded more as a fitness model, but this guy has done both. He's done runway and print modeling. He's done Calvin Klein. He's done Playboy. He's done YSL Dior. He's he really is that guy.
Calvin Klein was my go-to for suits when I was a diamondologist. I used to sell diamonds, so that was
Really?
my Calvin Klein suits were my or
Well, he does a mixture of he's done suits. He's done a lot of fair amount of underwear modeling, but he's also done e-commerce modeling, which is basically you're on set and you are modeling through if 100, if not more, pieces of clothing.
right, whatever
And
they want you in.
yeah, it's like wear this. Okay, do a couple of poses. Next, 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 next. And that's where models make a lot of their money from is e-commerce. And but yeah, he's a hybrid, and I like people that have a versatility to them where even for some of my guys that are deemed more as a fitness model, where it's like 75% fitness, I still leave 25%. Look, these guys can do some style shoots. Do not leave them out, especially when I know there's a lane for brands that are expanding to the demographic of the men and women that cannot buy off the rack clothes because they like you've truly crafted a boutique look where you're going to need some tailoring or at least some clothing that has stretch. There's castings for that. So that's how I kind of look at an individual where, okay, I see where you are, but I see how I can brand you. It takes a bit of time. Now, if I am working with someone that is pretty experienced or has been in the game,
Brother.
they may be actually signed to another agency, non-exclusively, that is, or freelance.
I don't know what's going on at this point. If it happens again, we might have to just finish it another time. At least for now. For now, it's letting me back in. But so
So part
let's
one, part two.
yeah, there you go. So let's pivot just a little bit. We've talked a little bit about menswear and things like that.
Hmm.
You're not only guiding models, though, you are also helping create platforms for them.
Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the sip and pose. How did that come to be? Because that's your own baby, right? That's your own creation.
So this came out of conversation of necessity with my colleague Chance, where there are cities that thrive and have a strong market for not only social media marketing, but understand the culture of traditional industry modeling. Here in Jacksonville, there isn't are more commercial opportunities, but with me coming from really the more editorial side of things, I've done a bit of commercial modeling myself, where I've worked with in different capacities, but I skew more in the lane of fashion. And there's been an issue where there's just not been, oh no, it's happening. I'm like, is it my internet? I don't know. Steven, you're on all black.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me? Are we back
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I don't see you.
Oh man. All right. Well, I don't know what's happening right now, but I don't want to keep cutting you off. We might have to just do a part two, which now that I'm looking at the time, we got about 40 minutes in. So, Jordan, I mean, thank you for your patience, brother, with all this.
You're
I'm going
fine.
to figure out what's going on the technical end so that it doesn't happen again. But I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I think what really stood out today is how you're not just creating opportunities for yourself, but you're building platforms. And that's something a lot of people talk about, but few actually do.
Yes.
So, for those of you that are interested, tell the audience where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Jordan Mixson _. So it's my name followed by underscore. And if you want to check out the Sip and Pose model mixer page, it's Sip and Pose
Man,
model mixer.
I'm going to have a migraine by the end of this.
I'm not bothered. I'm really not. I know, but I
Well,
get it.
I'm supposed to be a good host, you know? No, but,
You're not a bad host at all.
well, thank you. But so, if I'm not mistaken, it is at Jordan Mixson, JORDAN MIXSON _ on Instagram.
That's correct.
Perfect. I'll definitely tag you in everything, and hopefully we can piece together whatever's been happening here
And
and
I'm
get
gonna
an
get you
episode out
signed
for these
too.
people. We're gonna try. We're gonna do what we can.
I'm signing you, buddy. I'm signing you.
Perfect. Well, until next time, this was EHC Unfiltered. Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.